So from a very young age, I had an interest in selling things. I suppose you could say that I had a bit of a knack for business, or something along those lines. So seeing as I spent most of my time in school, which I still do, I would often come up with ways to sell stuff. Starting in 3rd grade, I would make these little comic books and photocopy them, and then sell them to kids for like 50 cents. I mean, the comics weren't anything special. Most of them were fan-made Garfield comics, or these weird comics I made about food being alive. I remember with the food, there was a bunch of fast food characters like fries, a burger, a hot dog, a milkshake, and even a spicy burrito, which for some reason was like evil, and always looked like some kind of demon with little horns and a pitchfork, and a flaming tail. Kinda dark, I guess. But moving on, I would sell these comics basically everywhere I went. I mean, at lunch, at recess, at the end of class, in the hallway, in the bathroom.
Hey. Oh. Hi. You wanna buy a comic? No. Buy my comic!
The main place I would sell them was on the playground, where I would crawl underneath it, and there was this little place that was kind of like a store counter. I would just dish out these comics to people who came to the window, and I had this little pencil case where I kept all of my money. I went there instead of walking around to people because a lot of times one of 3 things would happen. The first possibility was that I would ask them if they wanted a comic and they didn't have any money. The second thing that could happen is they have money and buy it. And the third option was that they say something like, yeah, I'm in this really involved game of tag right now, so, no. And I remember, in the first month of 3rd grade, I made like $30 off of these comics, which, all things considered, wasn't bad at all. Eventually, I started selling these things that I called fun packs, which were essentially a comic, a little candy bar, and a piece of gum, which I sold for like $1. And those sold way better than the normal comics, because not only was it a comic, but you also got some goodness for your taste buds, which, I mean, come on, who doesn't like to slather a nice piece of candy all over those tongue bumps? Eventually, other people started wanting in on this action, so I started hiring people. The first person I hired was this kid named Jason, and basically what would happen was I would give him a bunch of fun packs to sell. Our deal was that for each one he sold, he could keep 50 cents, which not only made him happy because he could buy an ice cream sandwich or 2 at lunch every day, but it also made me happy because I had all that sweet moolah. I was basically an entrepreneur, people. I mean, heck, I should have gone on Shark Tank and met that bald guy. But soon, I encountered some problems. And my biggest problem was her, Mrs. Wernstrom. Now, Mrs. Wernstrom, I'm sure she meant well with what she was doing, but in reality, I think she just became one of the most hated teachers in my grade. Apparently, one day, some kid in her class was walking around with the comics, and when the teacher asked where they got it, he said he bought it, which pointed to one of my employees, and when she questioned him, he was like, "Nah, fam, it's not my fault. Tom did it." And so she found me and made me explain everything to her. And then she told me, "It's not okay to sell stuff in school. It's against the rules." And I just kind of sat there and nodded like, "Yep, I understand. I have been a bad boy. Can I please go now?" And then there was one line that really ruffled my jimmies. She said, "So you're gonna have to hand back all that money to those kids," which almost made me burst into tears. I mean, all of my money? I don't think she understood how much money I was making at this point. I had earned $160, and there was no way that I would give up all of that hard work. So what I ended up doing is telling her that I made just $30 selling the comics and fun packs, and she was like, whatever, seems legit. And so I handed back $30 to some of the kids while she watched, and went home with the other $130 in my pencil case. And I totally spent it on something worthwhile. And now that I'm in high school, y'all know what I'm gonna be selling. Kidding, don't do drugs.